Hello and welcome back to the channel. I thought I would continue with the progress of the characters because I felt a wee bit frustrated from last time that we hadn't really achieved very much. I think I probably shared the characters' frustration. The fact that we hadn't come across no opposition, no treasure, um, and just a variety of traps and shoots and all sorts of strange things. So I'm going to continue this stage of the adventure um, and kick off where we left the characters last time. And I've just done a bit quick correction because I noticed that I hadn't fully mapped out this room, the last one we went into, room 13. And I think I started too far into the corridor, and I should have been starting from, if we measure that as 30 feet, I should have been starting from this square, whereas I started from that. So I've gone back to the original 20 by 50 configuration, and I've taken that flush up to the edge of that, if you can see it from that, the edge of that sheet. Now, I think we thought there was originally a passage on this side, and we realised that we couldn't have one on the opposite wall because that goes into nowhere. So it was likely to be weighted to this side. So we just got to determine in which square here it's going to go. So I'll say 1, 2, 3 is here, 4, 5, 6 is there. So let's just resolve that just now. So it's here. So we're going to have a 30-foot corridor. Because this is a chamber, we continue it as a passage. So again, this is going to limit just exactly where this can go, because we're up against this imaginary edge of the world scenario. Okay, so characters have to map this room out, so that will take 2.5 turns. So if we just, that's 1, 2, and another say another 5. So that's going to be 8. So we actually, as we're mapping, we're going to have a wandering monster check. So we could get the excitement we're after just by wandering monsters, which aren't really, they don't generate much in the way of treasure, which is the downside. So there's a 1 in 10 chance we have a wandering monster. So that's an 8. So we don't have a wandering monster. So we have our check, and remember we won't have any rest periods until our 3rd hour. So that is basically 1 hour elapsed. 1 hour elapsed. And we've carried 8 forward, so it's now 10:30 in our 2nd hour and our turn, and we have 8 rounds carried forward from the previous, after mapping all that out. Okay, I would say that the characters can progress down this corridor, and we'll see what's at the end of that. And in order to accomplish that, we have to perform a periodic check. So we'll get our d20 ready, and we'll roll a d20. So a 14. So first of all, I'll mark off the periodic check. So we're up to 12 periodic checks. And a 14, according to Appendix A, is 14 is a chamber. So I'll just show you that, how that appears. 14 to 16, chamber, table 5, check 30 foot after leaving this table. Okay, so let's see what the chamber is. Chamber size. It's going to be a d20, that's a 17. It's rectangular, 40 by 60. Okay, well we can accommodate that, but it's going to be flush. So is it 40 by 60 or 60 by 40? Yeah. Let's just do our decider. 1, 2, 3, it's 40 by 60. Yep, it's 40 by 60. So it has to go down here. So this is the this is the biggest one we've had actually. Yeah. So 40, and we'll do that there, and that there, and that there. Right, so this is a very large chamber that we've come across. So that's 24 onto there. Lindris, his hand will be shaking because he thinks, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to map all this out. It's going to take a while. That's 60 and all. And just do that up there. Yeah, this is definitely the biggest one we've come across, and the map is filling up quite rapidly now. It might be worthwhile, after having mapped this, just have a quick recce of the overall map and see what our overall options are. And I suppose this is what the characters might be doing at junctures. It's kind of poring over what they've actually mapped out so far and considering, you know, have we fully searched this area? Should we go back and maybe retrace our steps and see what's going on? Or maybe we haven't checked this corridor correctly, or, you know, it must be running through their minds that they've missed something. So this passage just runs into this chamber. So this seems to be like the chamber area of the catacombs of the palace, because that's what we're getting just now. And then we have to have the number of exits. So that is a d20, and it is 6, and it is over 600 feet, and we have 3 exits. Oh wow, so we have a lot of exits, and they are going to be passages. So we can't have it on the left wall, so we have to have it on the right or the opposite wall. So on this opposite wall we can't have because we can't have no, it goes off. So we are limited to our 3 exits on these walls here. So I would say that, looking at the exit location, is there any kind of weighting? Same wall is pretty low. Right wall is about 5, so 5 against 2. So I would say that 1 to 2, it's on same wall. 3 to 6, it's on side the right wall. So we'll do first exit, it's on here, and we'll do a 1 to 6, it's along here, and this exit is on this wall, and it is here, and we have another exit that is on this wall, and it can only be 1, 2, 3, 4. In fact, it can't be, because then it's a double, so it can only be one of these 2. So let's do that. It's this one here. So that's interesting, isn't it? Now, this is getting a bit close to that. So unless there's maybe they aren't side by side. So I'll do 30 feet down here. So there's an awful lot of mapping for Lindris to do. And then we have 30 feet down here. And over here, we have 30 feet. Okay, I'll just quickly put these lines in so that we can C, and that one here. So just standing back, that, yeah, wow. It's like an underground car park or something now, isn't it? Okay, so drum roll. We've all been waiting for it. Chamber or room contents. Right, here we go. Big chamber. Has it got a lot of contents? 2. Nothing in it. Okay. So that is number 14. And we have room 14. It is 40 by 60, and it's a chamber, and it's empty, and it has 3 passages out. Okay, so in terms of mapping, that is 20 by 20. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's going to take 6 turns to map that. Yeah, that's why Lindris was thinking, oh my goodness, this is going to take me a while. So that's going to take us up to a wandering monster check. And in fact, we'll still be mapping. We'll just be completing our mapping of this when we do a wandering monster check. And when you think of it, a wandering monster is likely to come down one of these things if they do come. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We have a wandering monster check. It's a 1 in 10. So I get my 10-sided dice. It's a 9, so there's no wandering monster check. We have another hour elapsed. We've fully mapped that room. We're now up to 11:30. We carry our 8 rounds down. And we're into our 3rd hour in the dungeon. So by the end of this this hour, it will demand a rest period. So the characters are aware of these passages here. They have not heard any footsteps or approaching monsters. So they are quite keen to explore what is down here. So I would say when we've done these passages, we have a periodic check at the end of it. So I think Dagobert says, well, why don't we try the far one? And because maybe these ones will just lead us back into the complex. We're kind of limited based on what the map looks like. There's not much space there. Whereas maybe we've got some chance of coming down, and maybe there's another way into where the Sturges are. Or could there be something connecting us to this stream? I think there's more potential, and almost like do like an outflanking movement if there are things going on here. So they all kind of agree. They say, Dagobert, that sounds like a sensible option. We'll follow your lead, and we'll progress down this corridor here. So we will perform a periodic check. So we're up to our 13th. We'll roll a d20. We get a 6. So a periodic check with a 6 is side passage. Check again in 30. So the side passage is, we have to roll a d20. 3. Right 90 degrees. So if we're coming down to so that's left. That'll be that way. It will be taking going towards our left, so that would be the right if we were coming down it. So maybe these are going to be joining up. Yeah, that's the only way that would work, wouldn't it? This almost like loops round. I think that's the only way I could do it. It is a side passage, so it goes along here. Let's just do that. So we're saying this continues for another 30 feet. Down here. And there's a side passage here. Just got down on that 10 centimeters here, 1 centimeter. Now it's all getting a bit busy now, isn't it? Plus we were kind of running out of options of where to go. So you never know, we might actually exhaust this Dunmorna dungeon. And there might not be that much more left in it. We'll have to go searching for another dungeon to earn our fortune, which would be a bit of a shame because it'd be quite nice to get something significant out of here. You know, we have invested quite a bit of time in it. Sure that there's some other secrets here for us to find. Right, so on the time wise, that's going to take that's 3 rounds, 6 rounds. So we've already done. So that'll be 4. We'll be up to 6 here. 1 turn. To map down to here, and then we have another periodic check at the end of this. There's also this side passage that we haven't really gone down to check. You know, maybe that moves into like a big room or something. Well, we carefully proceed down here, and we do another periodic check. Periodic check 14. Roll a d20. 16. Oh dear. I don't like the sound of that. What is 6? Oh, it's a chamber. Chamber size 2. It's square 20 by 20. Right, okay, so that just, it's not going to quite fit in, is it? Almost 20 by 20. I would, let's just say that is, we've got 20 by 20 left, because I've done maybe a bit longer centimetre here. Yeah, let's do that to about there. And we've got probably got the space. And this will force it to be, that's the trouble. I suppose the mapping, you know, the chances of this, if you look at it, this has come independently from over on the left all the way across, and the chances of it lining up with this is pretty remote, I would say. But let's maybe just for the sake of consistency, let's maybe just, yeah, we're gonna have a 1.5 type thing here, aren't we? Maybe if I do it out to here, and then we will get, right, I'll do that. I'll use a bit of discretion, and I'll map the chamber like this. You'll see it when I've done it, how I'm planning to do this. And over here. Now it must be fun if you say to, you know, what are you even doing this afternoon? I've just been watching this guy on YouTube draw lots of squares. They're all very regular. He says he's got this, he's subcontracted it to some elf that's doing it. He was doing it in 3D. Yeah, people would probably say, why are you watching this? Well, again, I can vouch for the fact that it does aid restful sleep. Watching and listening. There's one thing one of the things I used to like, in fact I still do. It's this what's called it's a Scandinavian concept of what's called slow TV, and you can actually it's like you're on a train or I saw one that was actually you were on a sled and had huskies pulling you across the Arctic wastes. But the standard ones tend to be like you're on a train, and you go on this train journey. And there's one from Bergen to Oslo that I love, and you're just sitting on it, and it stops at all the stations, and people get on and stuff, and you just follow this, and it's a great way to kind of. So I suppose this in a kind of roundabout sort of way, as far as Advanced Dungeons and Dragons are concerned, this is the equivalent of slow TV, just watching me pace away. But we might have some excitement because we've got a room, a 20 by 20 chamber, not one of unusual size, so I don't have to worry about trapezoids or anything quite as savage to get your tongue around. I think, was it trapezoid? Trapezoidal. Yes, I can do it now. I've been practicing. I can have number of exits, so I'll roll that first. 10, up to 1200. 0 secret doors. It's our favorite, isn't it? So first of all, I'll just make a note of the room number. It's 15. 15. Yeah, this is the land of chambers, isn't it? So 20 by 20 chamber. And there are secret doors, TBA, TBF, TBF, to be found. However, we have a chance of an occupant. So let's do this. See what happens. 17. What could that mean? What does 17 mean on the room occupancy? Monster and treasure. Okay, right. So we have got M and T. So we take a deep breath. I have a quick swig of my can of Coke. What's the drill when we have monster and treasure? Well, we don't even think about treasure yet, but we do think about the monster. And when we have a monster on a level 1, or is this level 1? Oh, this is interesting. Yeah. What does this count as? Well, that was something coming through the front door. No, just let's just now we're playing 3-dimensional chess here, aren't we? Because we've been up the chimney, we've gone along here. This is on a higher level, isn't it? So, I have failed the first law, the first rule of dungeon mapping, and I am mixing up my levels because I've gone up. Isn't that's such a basic mistake? I should be mapping this out on another level. So when it comes to the next session, I'll have this on a different sheet, and I can go anywhere on this, although it is kind of limited. I'm still going to have this as the edge of the world, but I can go over into this type of domain. So I'm going to have to remap that. Isn't that? That's what you get if you just kind of you easy ozy and you don't keep sharp and keep on point. But at least I spotted it in the end. I'll wait and see whether it's I have preempted any other people saying, you've gone up a level. Surely you shouldn't you be on another sheet of paper. Yes, I should, and I've been a bit of a silly boy. But let's not dwell on that just now and get back to the exciting part of the situation, which is the monster. And for a monster in a 20 by 20 room, we have to go to this dreadful table here, which is always a very, very scary. And I would classify this as still being first level dungeon. So I'll make a ruling that because we've gone upwards, it doesn't. It just still classifies as level 1. I think that's the way to do it. I think if the chimney, it's not the chute, it's the chimney had gone downwards, we'd be down at level 2, and it becomes much more dangerous. So the rule in Dungeons and Dragons is the lower you descend, the more dangerous it becomes. Unless you were in, I think I mentioned one of my early videos that one of my dungeons was a tower, and the higher you got, the more dangerous it became. But this isn't going to be the same. This is still a level. This is effectively a level 1, and that's what we're going to be operating here. Right, where was I? Yes, we have to do the level of the monster. So let's see what level monster it is. It is a level 1 monster. Okay, good start. What is the monster that we're going to be facing here? It is going to be D100. So I'll get my new D100 all together, and let's see what we get. Hopefully it's not more characters, because if it's more characters, where have they come in? How can they? I don't know, characters, how did they get there? So, that is 98. Oh, look. 98. Skeleton. 1 to 4. Yeah, that is definitely a 98, isn't it? 98. So 1 to 4 skeletons. Right. Now I love skeletons because in fact thinking of a rival rule system, RuneQuest. Now skeletons were always a lot of fun because RuneQuest had a hit location system. Whenever you got a hit, they divided the body up into different zones. So you had your arms and your legs, you had your abdomen, you had your chest, all that kind of stuff. And you always did a hit location whenever you scored a hit. And depending on the armor there that you had, that would absorb a certain number of hits. And if any damage got through, you would take a direct hit to the say the limb, for example. And if you got sufficient amount of damage, your limb would be severed. That was the way it worked. Or if it be, say, the abdomen, you got a critical stomach wound, and you kind of bled out, and that's that type of thing. Or say the head was the worst, maybe a decapitation or something, brain injury, that type of stuff. With skeletons, you used to be able to shatter any hit to any of their arms or legs, they would shatter. So it was a wee bit like the Monty Python thing, the Black Knight, and you would get skeletons hopping around with like one leg and maybe an arm, and so I've always had a bit of a soft spot for that. But I've always liked the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons skeletons too. I think they've got this is what the game's all about. And also, we can bring in the cleric because they are undead. So this is our first undead encounter. So there we are, in all their glory. Skeletons. Frequency, rare, number of appearing 3 to 30. Their armor class is 7. So let's make some quick notes. Let's see how many, what is their hit dice is 1. So based on my cap principle, we can face a maximum of 6. So I think the number appearing was 1 to 4, according to the page 173. Number of skeletons, 1 to 4. So let's find out how many we're facing. 1 to 4 skeletons. So we are facing, that's a 3, isn't it? Yeah, because I've got a slightly different, this is my new D4 as well. So it must be how it lands. The top one shows you. So we've got 3 skeletons. So skeleton, they are armor class 7. Now these probably do wear some form of, if you look at the picture, they probably do wear some form of armor. Maybe they've got shields and stuff. So I would say, let's have a look at their blurb, because you remember when it comes to things like weapon factors, you get pluses or minuses depending on what the armor is that you're trying to hit. So what it says about skeletons: skeletons are magically animated undead monsters. They are enchanted by a powerful magic user or cleric of evil alignment. Well, tell us about it. The Callistra must have enchanted these at some stage and left them maybe as guardians. So we've got our connection already. So that, like a necromancer type, that's what she was like. The skeletons perform according to the command of their animator, the command being limited in scope to but a dozen or 2 words. They are found only in burial places or dungeons and similar forsaken places. So we're ticking all the boxes so far. This is a very credible type of long-term denizen of the dungeon, because they can sit for eons. They aren't dead. They're not going to die. The skeleton strikes with some form of weapon, but regardless of the weapon type, the damage caused by hit will be 1 to 6 hit points. So we'll just assume that they've all got like maybe swords or spears or something. Skeletons suffer only half damage from sharp and or edge weapons such as spears, daggers and swords. Blunt weapons such as clubs, maces, flails, etc. score normal damage. Fire scores normal damage. Sleep, charm, hold and cold-based spells do not affect skeletons. Holy water causes 2 to 8 hit points of damage on a skeleton for each vial which strikes it. Skeletons attack until destroyed, so they don't have any morale. They're just focused on their objective, which is to destroy intruders. And any of our, the only blunt weapon that we've got is Dagobert's Footman's Mace. So he can score full damage, and the rest of the guys are just going to not really score anything. I could always assume, try and work out what sort of weapon they've got, but it doesn't really sort of say. Just the picture shows that they've got things like swords. I'm always remember that, Jason and the Argonauts film with the Harry Howson or something. He's the animator, and they'd have these skeletons that had swords and circular shields, like hoplite shields. And that was always really quite I always thought that was an amazing looking piece of animation. It was probably done in the 1960s or something, but it was amazing. It just looked so good. Okay, so damage 1 to 8, hit dice 1. So I think what we can do is maybe generate these skeletons, and we don't really have an option of what we're going to do with them. Now, remember, there is a good chance that they've got some treasure that they're guarding, so it's in our interest to take them on and see what happens. So what we'll do is we'll do skeleton 1, skeleton 2, and skeleton 3. And skeleton 1 has got 1 to 8. Is that a 1 to 8? No, that's a D. I'll get my D8s out. I think that's my D8. Yeah, there we go. So one's got 7 hit points. The next one's got 2 hit points. And the third one has got 2 hit points. Okay. Now, Dagobert, it's debatable. Let's see what happens if we set this up. So we'll get our little battle board out. And it's a 20 by 20 room. So it's going to be up to here, say. So we can have that as being the dimension that way, and then it's going to be there and down to here. Yeah, 6. So across here. Okay, so it's in this space here, and we as interlopers have come in a passage up here. So currently the party is here, just waiting outside in the ante. In fact, I've got my little thing here I can put. Just do that here just now. Do it that way around because it's got a door. Tristan, Lindris, Dagobert. Right, we have to do a surprise first. See who is caught on or off guard. So the characters can be white and the skeletons can be black. Now, I don't think the skeletons are surprised on a 1 to 2 as the party. So let's see what we get. So the skeletons are surprised. And the number of surprise segments that the characters have got is 4 minus 1. That's 3. That's a good start, isn't it? We get 3 free segments to attack them. Now the distance can be a maximum of when it's surprise, it's 1 to 3 inches, which is like 10 to 30 feet, or it's limited. The size of the room is the override. So the maximum that we can have is I would say let's place them in different zones and see where. So we'll have that as zone 1, that is zone 2, that is zone 3, and that is zone 4. So let's do that first. So it's a D4. Get my old-fashioned D4 out. So zone 2. So the skeletons are here in this one here. So we'll have as I can get my little. What would be up? Should we have black ones for the skeletons? Yeah, we'll get our little black ones out over here. So we've got a skeleton here. We've got a skeleton here. And we've got the more powerful skeleton. So we've got 2 2s. The 2 2s are here. In fact, no, we better do it in order. We've got skeleton 1, skeleton 2, and skeleton 3. Okay. We have now got 3 surprise segments to do something, to react to this. So we've caught these skeletons, but maybe what's happening is that they're starting to because they've been maybe in hibernation for so long. You know, when you think of it, there's probably about 170 years. Well, it is 170 years since this palace was destroyed. So they've had a command to guard this room by Callistra, and they are following the diktat. But when their sanctum is broken, it takes a while for them to almost like uncurl and present a visage, a combat ready attitude or position. So that's what's happening now. They're almost like the aliens in Alien. They're kind of uncurling and maybe becoming erect and stretching their arms out, and they've got their sword and they're moving their shield round and that type of thing. So you can imagine they're almost like the ones in Jason and the Argonauts. They've got their shield, they've got their sword, They've got some sort of loose, maybe chainmail or something on, and helmets, and they've got these glowing eyes, you know, and chattering teeth, and it's all starting to become a bit kind of scary. However, the characters are buoyed by the fact that they know that they've got three segments. So I would suggest that they really just go for it and charge, because they've been coming up here, they've got all their stuff ready. They just charge into these skeletons and try to take them on. So I think that's what Dagobert says. Look, let's take these skeletons now. And he goes, charge. And what Lindris does is he moves around here. He does the charge. And Tristan goes forward and smashes into that skeleton there. And Dagobert screams, by the mace of Bane, I will smite thee. And it all gets very dramatic. And what we can do now is do our combat resolution. Now, because we charged, we get a +2 to do some damage, and we can strike in the same turn. So if I just get my little charts out, we can do this combat. Now, we won't use weapon factors in this because it's not really specifying what type of armor they've got and whatever. So I'm just, you know, unless they do specify the armor, I'm not going to bother. You know, I could make an assumption. What would be armor class 7? If it's got a shield, let's see, armor class 7. In fact, I'll put it in my little sheets here. Right, armor class 7 is leather, armor, and shield, or all right. So maybe they've got leather armor and shield, so they would be like leather armor. So it would be armor class 8 that we're hitting against with our weapon. Yeah, they haven't got mail because they're not a good enough armor class. So it must be like equivalent of light leather armor. Oh, there's ring mail. Then they don't have a shield. Maybe I should do ring mail, and they don't have a shield, and they've just got spears and swords. Yeah, let's do that. So they've got ring mail on. So we can use that for the weapon factors. So who should we do first? We will do, let's do Lindris first. And Lindris is, he's got his long sword. So he's going to score half damage. And he is a fighter against armor class 7. He has a 13 to hit. So we'll make a quick note of this so that we don't have to keep on referring to the charts. This is where I could do with a few more post-it notes. And we'll just do it on this treasure one just now. So Lindris, his base is 13 to hit. Yeah. He gets +2 for charging. So that's the basic. Charging is +2. And does he have a bonus against ringmail, which is armor class 7? So let's look at his long sword. Look at his long sword. Sword long against armor class 7, 0. Okay. Right. He lunges at this skeleton number 3, who is trying desperately to fully animate itself and dodge out the way of this fast elf. So +2, he needs an 11 or more to hit. I think I've done everything. Yep. 11 or more to hit. Get my d20. Come on, Lindris, let's see if we can dispatch this. Oh, he misses. Oh no. Okay. Right. Not everything is lost yet. We'll have Tristan as our next one. And he again has a 13 because he's a level 1 fighter, +2. And also he has, because of his strength, he has a +2. So his strength bonus is +2. He gets that all the time. So he actually has a 9 or more to hit. So let's see if Tristan can smite down this skeleton. And he gets a 4. He misses 2. Oh no. So it could really be down to Dagobert. Dagobert has he has the Mace of Bane. And clerics need, against armor class 7, a cleric needs a 13 too. So he's very comparable to a fighter. His mace against his footman's mace against, Tristan didn't need a weapon adjustment either because he was a longsword. His footman mace against armor class 7, 0. So he needs an 11 to hit. Come on, Dagobert. Dagobert hasn't actually hit anything yet, so it'd be nice if he gets something. Yes! Dagobert smites this undead creature. Now the good news for Dagobert is that he does full damage. So he does, for a footman's mace against a small or medium-sized opponent, mace footman's is 2 to 7. So that's 1d6 plus 1. Right, Dagobert will roll the dice of Bane. Here we come. The dice of Bane has been rolled against Skeleton 2, who I've lost. Skeleton 2's only got 2 hit points. Will the dice of Bane smite it? 6. Completely crushes. It disintegrates under his mighty blow. And Skeleton 2 is no more. Skeleton 2 has been eliminated. A mighty blow from the Mace of Bane. Dagobert yells, "The glory of Bane, smite the undead." Now, we move on to surprise round 2 out of 3. So, I would argue that because Dagobert has eliminated that particular opponent, he has an ability to move over here and give that Skeleton 3 a hit. He's probably not going to be able to move over here because there's going to be too much going on. There's probably not enough room. I think he needs, for his mace, he needs about 2.5 feet. Yeah. Whereas the swords are about 3 feet. They need a bit more. So he wants to try and stay out of Lindris's kind of arc. So he reckons he can probably give this skeleton a good wallop from that position. So that's what he's going to do. But we'll start with the order again. And remember, we removed the charge items. So we've just become a 13, 11, and a 13. So it becomes a bit more difficult for us to hit. So we'll start with Tristan first. He has a 13 to hit against skeleton number 3. He misses. Sorry, yeah, Lindris first. And then Tristan, he has an 11 to hit with his longsword. Now he does hit with his longsword. So that's good. And he does 1 to 8 points of damage, halved. So he does 5 points of damage. I think the convention is that you roll up. You go up, do you? Do you go up? Because I don't really know the convention, I'll just do a 50-50. So we'll take the fraction up. On a 1 to 3, we don't. We go down. So yes, we score 2 points of damage against skeleton number 1. So he goes down to 5. Okay. Dagobert uses his mace again and tries to smite this this skeleton. He rolls. Dagobert gets it again. Dagobert's on fire. The Mace of Bane. I think the Mace of Bane is going to get him because it has a D6 plus 1. 5. And not only does he destroy the skeleton, he crushes it again with a mighty blow. And it's gone. Poof. Dagobert's on fire. He's yelling. He's going into a battle frenzy. Lindris is standing back a bit, going, "All right, yeah, all right. I've seen enough. You can calm down a bit." Okay, and that's a surprise segment 2 gone, and Dagobert's got two kills. Lindris has missed a couple of times, and Tristan has had 1 hit, but not destroyed the strongest skeleton that's still capable of fighting back. But we've still got one turn left. So Lindris stands back because he sees that Dagobert is he's on fire. So Dagobert jumps over, and Tristan looks to his right and thinks, that mace looks a bit, just poke your eye out with that. Just be careful. So they both pound in, and I think what Lindris will do is he'll form a guard position back here in case, say the skeleton tries to dodge and whatever. He's got a guard position here to stop the skeleton moving anywhere. After this, but hopefully we can dispatch this skeleton with 1 mighty blow. So we'll do Tristan first. He needs an 11 or more to hit. He misses. Okay. Dagobert needs a 13 to hit. Is Dagobert going to hit? Okay. Look at that. These must be his dice. He is blessed. These are the dice of Bane. He scores maximum points, so he will do 1d6 plus 1. He does 6 points of damage. And how many has this thing got? It's got 5 left. It's destroyed. So the skeletons are all dispatched. And almost single-handedly, with a bit of assistance for Tristan, by Dagobert, who has proven himself as the great leader that he's always been. He says, "I am not merely the lantern carrier. I am Dagobert, cleric of Bane, smiter of skeletons and undead infestations of this world. Let them go back to the Underdark, where they came." So, well, that was quite an exciting little venture. So I would say that they've done pretty well there. So they will do a search, and we'll get back down to earth. We'll do a quick search of the room and do a bit of mapping. I'll get rid of my combat sheets. It's a 20 by 20, so it's going to take a turn to map. And meanwhile, we're kind of searching away for treasure. That didn't even take a round, really, to fight. It takes a turn to map that room. Room 13. And then we determine treasure. And of course, Tristan's going to be on hyper alert because they're being caught a bit, flat-footed with the treasure. It's not the treasure, with the sliding wall. So he's going to be very careful when it comes to checking these whatever container the treasure's in. So what we'll do is we'll check what the container is first, and then whether it is trapped or not. Whew. So that was quite, yeah, I think that makes up for maybe a lackluster previous episode. That was, you know, that's what Dungeons and Dragons is all about, isn't it? You know, fighting skeletons. It was maybe a bit one-sided, and we were quite lucky with the surprise roll, but that's just what happens. So, treasure is contained in a D20, so we'll do that first. So it's loose. Okay. So it won't be guarded, and it's not hidden by. It's just loose. I think. Well, maybe we should do that. What was my ruling for this? It's a 1 in 10. It's got something going on. No, it's a 10. All right, so it's loose, the treasure. What we do is we do 2 rolls. We do, and we add 10%. So our first roll for the treasure, this is going to be loose treasure. Let's get D. Where is my D10? Yeah. So first roll, add 10%. 54, that's 64. So 64, 750 electrum pieces per level. So it's level 1, 750 electrum pieces. So we've got our little skeleton things. So we've got treasure 1, treasure 750 electrum. Loose, all over the place. These skeletons are very messy. They're not really, you know, since Callistra's been gone, the place has gone to the dogs. Right, the next one. Ooh, 92. Plus 10. 100. Ooh, we're into magic. Ah, wow. Roll once on magic items table. Wow. Oh dear. So the magic items table. Where is the magic items table? Is that is that the one that we did for, remember, for Seawood? We did that table. Magic items table. Oh, I'm a bit stumped now. Oh, here we go. There's magic items table. Right, and it's because it's level 1. It'll be probably a table 1, won't it? Yeah, I think that's what happens. The level. Yeah. Stairs. Table. Magic items table. I honestly have forgotten what we do here. I think we roll on this. Remember we generated Seaward's stuff, and it was the magic items table for character. These are for character encounters. There are a magic items table. Hang on. Yes, I'm being silly. There are magic items tables. Yeah. I so rarely go to this because I never get anything. There we go. There is one here. So random treasure determination. Map table, monitor treasure, magic treasure. Magic treasure. Dice. 1d20. Oh my goodness. Surely that's not right. We can't have all that type of stuff. You know, any 5 items. 1 is a rod. No way. See, that's a bit too much, isn't it? I tell you what, I can see that we've been going some time now. What I want to do is fully research exactly how to determine this. We do know that we've got 750 electrum pieces, which is probably equivalent to about, I don't know, how many electrum is it to? Is that like 75 gold pieces? Is electrum 10 to 1? I think electrum is, there's a little conversion chart here, isn't there? Conversion electrum. Oh, 2. All right, so it's about half a 750. So maybe, what, 250, say 300 and something. Yeah. So that's a reasonable amount of gold pieces, the Electrum. And we do know that we've got a magic item, or we can roll on the magic items table as the other thing. Tell you what, I think we'll just leave that there. The excitement has been overwhelming. I'm in a bit of a hot flush now. I've got to go away and research how I can generate the magic items table. So that'll be a nice thing to look forward to for the next session. Exactly what they've got, and then I think my advice to the characters would be hightail it out before you get another wandering monster check, and then you can get back to the Green Dragon Inn for afternoon tea. And that would be my advice. Okay, I think we'll call it a day there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.